Ready, Hetty?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Shall I explain our delay?
Sure.
Well, the world has changed. Nothing is ever on time anymore. If you call somebody, they're not there. And then you say, but it's an office, they should be there. But I realized the office is not in the office anymore. It's in the kitchen or on the outside. People are no longer where they used to be. And I'm getting used to it. Okay. I would like to talk about something today, and that's the painting. Painting number 93. The people, first of all, artists in partnership are going to be making prints. And my job has been to put the names and numbers on people. And this is the beginning. Okay, I want a lot of pity because I'm a slob. That has given me so much work. I can't find a list of names because they are in different areas. It took me so long to do that painting. I had different notebooks and I forgot where I put what, but we have it now. I'm going to need pity for a while, but I'm also going to have to become somebody who, when they begin something, finishes it. As Dory keeps telling me, Dory, right here. Can you find her?
Of course. She doesn't have a number yet, but I can find her easily.
I would like to talk to you about what I did, because it really began many, many years ago when I started to keep a little diary. I would get a notebook, let's say, for the year 2020. And then every day I would write a couple of lines on what I did during that day. Coming back to it now, it takes me back. And I can relive things again. I'd like to speak to all of you about keeping a diary. Not a complicated thing, but let's say for today, just to write, Kenny forgot to tune in, and so we were late. I will remember that.
Yes, actually we weren't late, but I forgot to post it, so people didn't see that until late. So that was what I did. To be
Aren't you glad that you're here to hear what I said wrong, and you can correct it? Okay. I would like to mention my main problem now is my age. I hate looking ugly. I hate to look in the mirror. Suddenly, my skin got blemished. Suddenly, my hair doesn't look right. And when I was younger, I didn't have to do things to make them look okay. And I look at the rest of the world, and you know, that wonderful, wonderful messages that my children made for me, from all of you. You got old too. Half of you I couldn't recognize because you got old, and I thought then I belong. It's not me, it's us. It's the universe. And suddenly I'm comforted. See the pimple I have right here? You've got your own pimples. I belong to you, you belong to me. And we belong to the stars and the moon and the earth. Okay, now let's talk more about age. I have, when I walk, in the corner of my block, there are sunflowers. And they have legs like solid trunks. My legs are so weak because I'm 95. Even when I was 90, they were stronger. And when they were 18, they carried me so beautifully. I have to accept it. Then with the sunflowers, afterwards, the stems get thinner and thinner and more graceful, and suddenly there is the little head. On the new sunflowers, they're golden and beautiful. And then bit by bit, they turn brownish and they lie flat. And what got to me is nature on top. It has packaged the leaves around what seems like a nest, like a cushion, so that when the sunflowers fall down, they won't leave a mess. There'll be a package. Will I be a package someday? When I am, you will remember me because I made the painting. Kenny? The painting is already gone. Artists in Partnership have it. And they're going to make prints. And I am going to continue working until every name is on it. And that's like packaging the sunflower. And this is my sunflower. And because of Artists in Partnership, and because of people who invented prints and machinery, you will be able to have one with your name and your presence in it. So I just wanted to say, every drop that you put into something you love continues. Kenny, if you could read any comments.
You know, I would love to, but this is one of those times, thanks to Facebook, that no comments are showing. But I will say that since I said this last, Martha Bilski is watching, and Carol Hodkin is watching, and Denise Taylor is watching, and Audrelyn Eckes is watching. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, Audra. And Yola Pitakas is watching, and Nicole Walsh is watching. So all of these folks are watching. However, somehow the chat function isn't working.
Because it's a machine.
At some point,
I am never able to get it anymore.
It's coming. Okay, yeah, now here come. So Lee Winter says, Hetty, your inner beauty shines through, and always will. So true. Denise Taylor, you are a joy and you are beautiful. And Fran Rosenberg says, Hetty, you can even paint with your words. And Yola Pitaka says, hello, my dear Hetty, miss you and love you. And Martha says, that's awesome, Hetty. Can't wait for the print. Carol Hodkins says, Hetty, you look beautiful.
Do you realize that when we are speaking now, Dory is going to take it from Facebook, put it on YouTube, and it even went to Greece. It'll go all over the world. We're living in an age of miracles. And our voices matter. Treasure your voice. Hand it out correctly. Don't use it for hate. Don't use it for anger. Think of your voice. Your voice goes out. Lars from Greece has a little girl.
From Sweden.
From Sweden, right. I keep thinking Greece. Has a little girl who sent me a drawing of a hedgehog. And I thought, so there are Walt Disneys in other parts of the world. Because Walt Disney had given me Mickey Mouse. And somebody else has given me Popeye the Sailor Man. Somehow or other, the miracle of technology, I forgive it all the miseries it causes me. Because it allows me to speak to the whole world.
And Dina Sheldon says, we love you. And you're right. No matter how much moisturizer I use, I can only highlight the wrinkles. But they're my laugh wrinkles with you. And Eddie says, sorry I'm late. Love you, Eddie.
You know, my problem is what Kenny is getting there, I cannot get. There's so many things that I can't get. I hit buttons and nothing happens. Or I get something else. But for me, I get comfort out of the words of people who say, yes, but children learn it from the beginning. You're learning it as an older person. You don't have the background. And I comfort myself and I say, but I have Kenny to read it to me. And I have Dory to put it on YouTube. And I have a little girl whose drawing was sent to me of a hedgehog from Greece, right, Kenny? No, Sweden. Why is it that Greece keeps coming to my mind? Whatever it is, I would like to speak more about the miracles that are happening now. I don't know what else is being found that never was known to humans before. Don't pollute. Don't throw hate out. Make it your business to find a spot and make it better. And let me know when you do. Thank you.
Nicole Walsh says, hello, my dear Hetty. Love you and miss you. keep shining. And Lauren Roth is watching. And Kathy says, I was so happy you met Tuscany. All my horses flocked to you. It made my day to see you smile so much.
I need to tell you about that day. He and John took me to see Tuscany the horse. The sad part is I wanted so badly to come back with my own car whenever I had the time, with my easel, with a large canvas, and to sit down and to paint that whole ranch. And I can never do that again. First of all, I can't drive. And if I had to sit until Medford, I could never do it for very long. I miss, because of my age, the getting into my car and driving to the Lower East Side and sitting down and painting, not this store or that store or that store, but streets, and coming back every day again and knowing all the people. I would like to know all the horses. I would like to know the children who ride on these horses. I would like to know the children who are caressing the horse. All of that I can never have again. But I have my memories. I would like to ask all of you to begin to write little diaries. It is so good for me to pick up, years from now, my little diary that'll say, in the morning, got into the car of my friends Kathy and John, and they drove me to Medford for hours of driving, and I loved every little bit of it, even though my bones ache from it now. But it was worth every ache. I learned that there are people whom I do not have to paint, because they will make photographs, and I can take those photographs and live that day again. So for everything difficult, except the way my skin looks, there's a reason. And I'd like to ask you, buy yourself a little notebook of 2024, and then every day put 1 or 2 lines. And someday, when you are 95, you'll open it to a page and you'll say, I remember that moment. Did I treasure it enough? I didn't, but I could do it now. Getting old means, how do you prepare? So I'm going to ask you, prepare. Give yourself the memories. And if it's a bad memory, write, rotten memory, I'm so glad the day is over. How much time do I have?
Oh, you have lots of time. You have 8 minutes. And Marcia Bard of Isman says, sorry to be late. Keep talking, though. It's wonderful. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask Hetty. But keep going. It's amazing what you're saying. Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
How do you get through and past, another question. how do you get through and past all of the obstacles of aging? Like, how do you handle all of the ways that you feel handicapped or limited in your day-to-day life? Like, what do you do with that?
I forgive myself, first of all. Forgiving yourself is an effort, because it's so good to be angry. I wrote an article to the universe saying, why did you give me these things when you were only going to take them away? Why did you give me so much and then take them away? Why couldn't I keep them? But then again, I began to think everything is done with a purpose. And I learned that when we went to the Museum of Natural History. There has to be room for other people to be born. And I find that when I walk now, and I walk with my walker, which has a seat, I stop in front of something, a new plant growing. And I look at it and I think, when I was younger, I would never have sat down to look. Now I need to sit down. Let me watch this flower grow. Maybe I was made to become tired so that I can begin to say thank you.
I just want to share with you so many different thoughts. Marcia said, is that a poster I see on your desk of the Long Beach painting?
Yes.
I want one. Can we get them? And that is this painting here. I think this is the one you mean, of Long Beach marches to the millennium. And each one has a number. And then here, here are the names of all the people who were in that painting. All 585 people. Is this one available, Hetty?
Yeah.
It's available. And of course, the new one will be available too.
Thanks to Artists in Partnership.
That's right. Tammy says, your thoughts are so insightful. I feel like I'm listening to a wise mentor. And Tammy and Tracy Hepner is watching. Martha says, I have journals going back to the 70s. When Katie was sick, I wrote 750 words a day for months. Now I have 150,000 words in a folder.
May I just say something to Martha?
Yes.
Martha, I saved everything you wrote. Send me those also. You're one of the few people I've met who knows what the reasons are for living.
Marcia Bard Isman says, you're such an inspiration, such wisdom and grace. Dina says, the horses came to you. That says everything about your soul. They came to welcome you. And Lauren Raff says, you have nothing to forgive yourself for. Aging is a natural progression. And Martha says, your mind is a miracle. And Amy says, Hetty, you are just the sweetest, most reflective person. We love you so dearly. And Nicole says, amazing. And Carol says, you always make so much sense. Relax and enjoy the flowers. So what you're saying is really touching people.
I just thank you all for being mine. You're mine in my soul. And cameras do it also, but the people who use the camera have to do it with love. Hernan has been sending me stories of my past in the photographs he took. And I've loved living. I've loved it. Even during the Hitler times, I learned about the value of life. Because my story was the story of Anne Frank until the visas came from Panama. And I would have died in the concentration camps like Anne Frank did, if not for family in Panama, which sent me Uncle Max, who sent me a visa, Uncle Harry, who taught me English, the good people along the way, and the wonderful Catholic school that I went to, St. Mary's Academy. People along the way, I'm going to ask you, be the people along the way for the refugees when they come now. Among them can be the cure for cancer, the cure for pestilence. Don't shut the door. And above all, don't separate families. Don't separate families. It is what Hamas did because they knew it would work. But Hamas also has people in it who want to heal. Let's find them. Let's find those who help. It's time for me to go. I love you all, and you're mine. You belong to me, and I belong to you. And maybe that's the secret of the universe, to believe that, not to see you as the enemy. Maybe as the universe shapes itself, maybe it'll shape itself towards kindness, as this painting does. Everybody in here, practice kindness. Find it. The painting belongs to all of us, even though it's being loved and taken care of by Artists in Partnership of Long Beach. Good night, and thank you.